live streaming going forward now. From now on, every race, we will continue to upload the streams to the podcast places. So please tell your friends about us. Get your family involved. Formula One is the fastest growing sport in the world. There's about 100 million people just got through watching the Austrian Grand Prix. So have all your friends and family become part of it. Good morning, Formula One fans. This is the Formula One News Hour, and I'm your host, Jonathan Steele. And the summer break is over, and we are going live in Zandvoort, Holland this morning for the Dutch Grand Prix. This is the home Grand Prix for reigning world champion and about to be world champion again, Max Verstappen. And the weather is a little damp in Zandvoort right now. It is not raining, but it has been raining, and it's drizzling in parts of the track, but not all of the track. And so they will be starting, I'm sure, on the intermediate tires. So let's start though today and thank our sponsors. And we have a new sponsor this week, Store One, store1.com. for all your storage needs. Store One brings a new concept to storage, and that is all of the 3 different types of storage, the containers, NFS, and the other one has left my brain right now, but block storage. That got it for you. Hope you don't mind Store One. My brain is a little flimsy, fuzzy, all those other things this morning. But anyway, Store One has introduced a concept of having a one price structure for all 3 storage types, and that's new to the game. So welcome Store One, and folks, if you need storage for your data, then Store One is the place to get it. And of course, we have our faithful Phenology, a small data center in Austin, Texas, providing both public and private cloud. So you need a public or private cloud, then Phenology is the place to go. And if you need co-location for those servers that you own, Phenology is the place to go. That is Phenology.com. Again, Phenology.com. And of course, our faithful Give, Send, Go folks. If you've come across some hard times through unexpected injuries, hospitals, or just bad times for friends or things, then you need a crowdfunding entity. And that entity you need is one that doesn't have any censorships like some of the others out there. So please go to givesendgo.com. That is givesendgo.com. And finally, Moms for Liberty. Folks, it's a tough time here in the United States if you're a parent of young kids, because the schools are trying to teach everything except what the kids need to be learning. And Moms for Liberty is an organization that is out there trying to change that. They want you to get involved with the school boards, get involved with your kids' education, get involved and get all of this culture stuff and sex education stuff for 6 and 7-year-olds out of the schools, get them back into studying math and English and science, all those things that are going to be really helpful to them when they get out of school and out of college, if they make it through college, based on the things they're teaching kids at school right now. The colleges are going to be empty in 10 and 15 years from now. So please, get involved, support momsforliberty.org. That is momsforliberty.org. So let's get on to some of the news in Formula One. And I guess the biggest news is that Danny Ricciardo will not be driving in this week or next week's Formula One. He has broken a small bone in his hand, which happened during the second qualifying or free practice, not qualifying, but free practice yesterday. And he's got a cast on that hand. And so a guy called Lawrence is going to be taking over for Danny Ricciardo, driving in his place this week and next week for sure. We'll see how fast that hand is going to heal, and whether or not Danny Ricciardo will be able to drive in 3 weeks from now. He's young, it'll heal fast, so chances are that of course he'll be just fine. But anyway, the other piece of news is that and I don't know why they're making such a big deal about it, but Lewis Hamilton still has not come to contract agreements with Mercedes, and of course he's complaining about the domination of Red Bull. He just doesn't think it's right, that we should be changing the rules to make the playing field more level for all of the competitors. It's strange. I don't remember hearing him complain when Mercedes was dominant there for 5-6 years. But anyway, that's about all of the news. There's over the summer there's been different gossip things going on, and of course the other news is the guys at AlphaTauri have a new leader. But other than that, there's not a lot to report other than what I've just said. So we're about to get going here with the track. It's 2.6 miles long. It's got 14 turns. It has a top speed of around 203 miles an hour. And like I said, they will not be doing that this morning because although they have the soft, the medium and the hard compound tires, they've also got the wet and the intermediate tires out this afternoon, or this morning for us, but this afternoon in Zandvoort. So it's kind of a bleary day. It's a typical European day over there. It is warm for that part of the world. It's right at 86 degrees. So that's going to mean it's pretty humid. So the tires are going to get hot pretty quickly. And looking at a screenshot right now of the track and from a helicopter off into the distance, there is rain way off into the distance, but it looks like it's probably 10-15 miles away. But the track is wet. But as they're saying it's spitting rain different places. Of course, the track is a sea of orange for Max Verstappen because this is his home track. So great expectations, I'm sure, expected out of Max today. I'm sure they're expecting that he will end up in pole position, but you never know. It's the McLaren guys, Lando Norris and Piastri, are doing exceptionally well. Mercedes is still hanging back. Ferrari's just having all kinds of trouble still. From the last race. They're showing the shots right now of the cars lining up, getting ready to start this qualifying session. So Max Verstappen has been out in front there for the free practice session. So there's no reason not to expect that he will not, of course, come out in pole position today. But you never know. Right now, he's leading the championship, 314 points, and his teammate at 189. Alonso behind that at 149. Hamilton right up behind him, 148, and then Leclerc at 99. Those are your top five. What's interesting to me is that although the McLarens have done well this last couple of races, they're still pretty much far down there, which means, and we know they had a horrible start to the season. So, but they do have the intermediate tires on. They do not have wet, and that as the track dries out, we're going to see if maybe at some point during the qualifying session here they switch to the slick tires, and I'm sure that would be to the soft compound tires. So that the summer break didn't really bring in a lot of changes for the cars. The things I've been hearing and watching in the practice sessions, the Williams cars have good straightaway speed. So don't be surprised to find Alex Albon and Logan Sargent up there. Up there in the top qualifying session, certainly getting through to QT and Q2 and hopefully Q3. So we're going to be getting going here in just a moment. In fact, the cars now are pulling out onto the track, and we're going to get a view here really of the spray coming up from the tires, so we can find up. And as I can't see who that is because we got a helicopter shot and the car's a long way off. But let's see if we can see who that is. No, still can't make it out as he comes around the corner. It looks like it's a Williams, judging by the colour. Yes, in fact, it is one of the Williams cars, probably Alex Albon, as he's the number one driver. I'm sure they had him coming out first. So it's not a great amount of spray coming off those tires so far. So the track is probably a little drier as we watch the Ferraris getting ready to pull out. The track's a little drier than I guess we've been anticipating. It looks wet. Judging by the screen, in fact, and they're just putting the tire warmers back on Max Verstappen's car. We've got 16 minutes and 47 seconds left in Q1 session here, and of course now we're just watching Sergio Perez come out of the pits and onto the track for qualifying as well. So I guess the Red Bull team and it's probably a smart move. Let all those other cars go out first and get a bunch of that water off the track before they go out there. So not a bad move on their part as we watch Alex Albon come through and complete the lap right as Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen come out. And really there is not a lot. It's interesting. The car's wiggling a lot though, so it does not look like they've got a whole bunch of grip on those cars because the Red Bull car there of Sergio Perez, as we watch George Russell just starting to take one of his first qualifying laps, they're really wiggling. The rear end does not appear to be getting a lot of traction on this track. And just looking at as we're watching the in-car camera from George Russell, there are puddles of water on the track. So he is throwing. I guess they weren't throwing up a lot because they hadn't got up to qualifying speeds. But now looking at the trail coming off of George Russell's car, he is throwing up quite a lot of water. So and everybody is on the intermediate tire. So we're about to start coming in with 15 minutes left here in Q1. We're going to start coming in and getting our first times. I would be expecting somewhere in the 123s here on these wet tires or intermediate wet tires in the first laps, and probably getting down as it dries off. In fact, I was way off. Alex Albon just came in at a 1:31, and he's got the fastest time right now. So little do I know about these cars in the wet, but so I'm still going to predict we're going to be down into the 120s by the time this Q1 gets through, because right now there's a lot of water on the track, and of course those tires have not warmed up. Yes, the tires do get hot even in the wet. In fact, Lewis Hamilton's just come in and he's dropped it down to 126 already, and Valtteri Bottas is in at 126. And we're watching now Alexander Albon come in, and whoa, he had to take the shortcut. He could not get that car lined up to come through the S's right there, and just went straight through the gravel and cut it off. And now we've got somebody else that's a Haas car, and he's taken off into the safety lane. Whoa. And what's happening here? We're watching a replay from Max Verstappen. Does he lose it? Yeah, he loses it as well. So these cars appear to have almost zero grip right now. And they're on intermediate wets. That's crazy. So Max Verstappen, he's only got one lap on those tires. Piastri's in at 125. As we watch one of the Ferraris go past Max Verstappen, it's kind of weird that he would lose that car so early, but he did. And I'm sure that he'll have something to say to his team about that, because it couldn't be Max's fault that he lost it on that. He's coming on the radio right now. What's going on with this car? I have no grip. I'm spinning everything everywhere. what is going on? And so now we got a shot of the engineer who's scratching his top lip, wondering the same thing: is it the car or is it Max? And so of course they're going to say it's the car. So actually Max is about to come out on a fast lap now, and we've just seen Logan Sargent coming in at 1:24. So we're getting closer into those times that I was expecting early on, which I said 1:23, and in fact Lando Norris has just turned in at 1:23, so my predictions are not looking so bad right now. But I'm sure by the end of this Q1 session, we're going to have a 120, maybe 119, because these cars are drying out the track very fast because there is no rain. So we're getting up to close to halfway through the Q1 session. We're at 12 minutes left, and Alex Albon is dropping off more time yet. So let me just get a glass of water right here. Something bug in my mouth. That's better. Norris is in at 1:23. So yeah, they're all coming in now in the 1:23s, and the large trail that was behind them in the first couple 3 or 4 laps is slowly disappearing. So you got to wonder at what point here are we going to see the slick tires. I don't think we'll see them in Q1, but we may certainly see them in Q2. So looking at the predicted lap times at the bottom of the screen here, everybody now is shaving time off those beginning lap speeds. So right now, very interesting. We've got both the McLarens and both the Williams cars at the top of the heap. Right now we got Max Verstappen in dead last, 7.4 seconds behind everybody. But I'm sure that's not going to last very well. And as we speak, he just turned in a 1:23 to come in 0.03 of a second behind, or actually 0.3 of a second behind Lando Norris, who is now behind Carlos Sainz, who's just turned in a very low 1:23.14. So as the track is drying out, the speeds are getting better. The intermediate wet tires are starting to lose some of their tread, and we're just watching now. Who is this? Leclerc that's had to take off into the safety again. So they're still having trouble with that particular corner and ending up going across. And it's very interesting here because they've got the sand, and then on the other side of the sand they've got allergies again. They've got a runoff track so they can get through the sand, get onto the runoff track, and then get back in. And George Russell just turned in a 1:22. Along with Alonso. I guess they're kind of a story as well with 10 minutes left to go in Q1. Them being the team of Aston Martin, because, they were doing so well at the beginning of the season. I think Alonso made podium, 4 or 5 times, and now they've slipped back, and Verstappen's now gone from the bottom of the pack to second place. He just turned in a 1:22.3. And he's just been beaten out by Norris at 1:22.39, so 9.2, and Verstappen at 9.4. So 2 1,000ths of a second difference there. It's kind of like swimming, this sport, where thousandths of a second really, really count. So yeah, if you're new to joining this podcast and you don't know, of course, my twins were swimmers for a long time, 17 years. And they swam for Kenyon College up in Ohio, but college days behind them, and now they're off into the world. My baby girl's still got one more semester to do. She's doing it in Rome though, so she's not complaining. That's because she transferred midway through, and they didn't transfer all of her credits from Wagner to Kenyon. Why, I don't know, but anyway, she's not complaining because she's going to Rome. So now we've got Piastri up there in the number 1 position. He's just barely missed out on a 1:21. And as I'm watching the cars go down the track here, the amount of spray is really negligible now. So those tires are probably getting quite hot. And of course, as more and more tread wears off them, then they become more and more like the slicks. They're not totally like the slicks because the walls of the tire are different and things like that. But certainly these tires are coming to the track, or the track's coming to the tires, one or the other. And so now what we have is we have Piastri, followed by Perez, followed by Norris, followed by Alex Albon. So they've got one of the Williams way up there. And we've got Logan Sargent all the way back down in 19th position right now. Pierre Gasly's all the way at the bottom. So the difference between number 1 and number 20 right now is 4/10 of a second. So lots of speeds, very much the same, which is to be expected because with the track being wet and all on the same tires. I think the only difference is going to be really the ability of the driver to drive in the wet. Of course, some drivers are better at that. George Russell with Mercedes is well known for his ability to drive in the wet, and so is Lando Norris. Of course, anybody that grows up in England is going to be used to driving in the rain. It's one of the reasons I left, right? Where I grew up in England, we had 60 days of sunshine. So that means we had 305 days of rain or cloud cover or snow. A lot of snow. We grew up in the Cheviot Hills, so there's a lot of snow. But yeah, so English drivers are going to be good at driving in the rain. So right now we've got Lando Norris up in the top position, followed by Russell, Piastri, and Perez and Alonso, and in the bottom. We've got Ocon Law, the new guy that's taking or Lawrence is his name actually. He's filling in for Danny Ricciardo. So it's expected that he's going to be all the way down there. Valtteri Bottas, that's not expected. Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent. So I would expect that Logan Sargent is going to make it through to Q2. His teammate's already up there in 6th position. So right now, if I had to guess, I would say certainly Ocon, Bottas, Magnussen. Where's Hulkenberg? I don't see Hulkenberg. Where are you, buddy? Anyway, there he is, 15th. Yeah, he could well end up not making it out of Q1 and into Q2. But it's early yet. There's still 5-6 minutes to go. So we've got lots of time to try and make that top 15. If you remember, the top 15 cars go through to Q2, and then out of Q2, the top 10 cars go through to Q1, to Q3, and only those cars in Q3 can qualify for the pole position. So I think if we don't get any more rain, and maybe we'll get a helicopter shot here in a few minutes and we'll be able to see, but I don't think if we get no more rain, I think we could well see the slick tires, maybe not in Q2, because there's still quite a bit of water coming up. Not a lot, but it's not dry, so I wouldn't expect. We've got a replay, and in fact, Lewis Hamilton really struggled there to keep the car. Oops, and it looks like, is he being blocked? He might, well, let's see what he thinks. Yeah, I got blocked. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether, and you'll never guess who that is, guys. Come on, guess. Yeah, you guessed right. It's our great and good friend. Whoa, what happened there? Oscar Piastri nearly got totally wiped out by Carlos Sainz as Sainz came out of the pits. Anyway, the guy that blocked Lewis Hamilton was of course Lance Stroll. Oh, that's too close for comfort. Carlos Sainz is apologizing because he's not talking to Piastri, but he just didn't see him when he came out, and that's on the pits. The pits should have warned him that Piastri was, whoa, and Max Verstappen doing a little wiggly there, lost the rear end, but managed to keep it going, but I'm sure that cost him a good quarter of a second, where is he right now? He's all the way down in 1st place, now just moved to 2nd place. So, and guess who's at the top right now, folks? Alex Albon, a 120. So there's my 120s coming in. So we're 9/10 of a second away from 119. So I'm thinking it's going to take a 119 or a very low 120 to get into Q2. Right now, Tsunoda, Joe Granyu, Hulkenberg, Lawrence, and Bottas are in your bottom 5. Those guys, and they've got 3 minutes to do it. So we're doing 120. So they got 2 more laps to get in to see if they can get out of the cellar and up into a respectable position to, and really, that just safely get in at this point. The goal is to safely get into Q2. I'm sure there's Lawrence at the bottom. He's 7/10 of a second off the pace. This is his very first Formula One race. So, one, he's going to be a little nervous. Two, he's going to be a little cautious. He does not want to go out there and look like a fool and spin out and lose the car and all that kind of stuff and cause a wreck. He just wants to get into the race tomorrow, which we will be live streaming, folks. Live streaming the race tomorrow starting at 8 a.m. Central Time. That would be 9 a.m. for you guys on the East Coast and 7 a.m. for you guys Mountain Time and 6 a.m. for you guys on the Pacific Coast. So, of course, we will, like this podcast that we're recording right now, we will, after the race, be posting it up to all of your favorite podcast sites. All right, so we've got 2 minutes to go. So we got roughly, everybody will be starting on the last lap with their ability to get into Q2. Wow, we've got Carlos Sainz all the way down in 16th position right now. Charles Leclerc in 14th. Those guys are on the bubble. Logan Sargent's all the way up there in 11th, so it looks like he is going to make it through. His teammate's number one right now, followed by Verstappen, followed by both of the McLaren cars. Where's Alonso? Alonso's all the way down in there in 13th. Stroll is in 11th. George Russell is in 7th. Where's Hamilton? Hamilton's at 19th right now. He's got it. Okay. So right now, if you're not on your qualifying lap, you are not going to make it. If your name is Leclerc, Joe Granu, Magnussen, Leclerc, right, Bottas, Hamilton, and Lawrence, you guys are not going to go. And Hamilton just finished and came in 10th. But that's for all of those to come in. That might still be on the bubble. Perez is at 11th. The guys that are safe are Albon, Verstappen, and the two McLarens, and it looks like Carlos Sainz, George Russell. Lance Stroll just came in at 7th, so he's safely through. Where's Alonso? Alonso, where are you? He is... What has happened to my eyes? Where is Alonso? I can't find him. There, that's because he wasn't on there. He's right now... Alonso is up in 10th. So he's pushed Hamilton down to 12th. Perez is at 13th. These guys are on the bubble. Joe Granu, Magnussen, Leclerc, Bottas, and Lawrence are not getting through right now. Whoa! And who was that? Valtteri Bottas, yes. Just barely hung on to that car. It almost got completely sideways on him. But he is not going to make it through, I don't think, because that's a 122. So that's not going to get you there. So he's out. Ocon's out. Magnussen is out. Charles Leclerc, what are you doing? Is he going to make it? We don't know. So if he makes it, that will push Hamilton down, maybe Perez. So right now on the bubble, we've got Joe Granu is 15th. I just said he was out, but he's not. He's at 15th, but he and Logan Sargent and Perez are on that's 13th, 14th, and 15th. They're on the bubble. So, yeah, and there he goes again. Leclerc can't, he ain't going to make it through. He's at 122, 117. Yeah, he's going to make it through. No, is he? No. Where did he come up? 14th. Whoa. He got lucky. Did he ever? So let's see who didn't get it. Logan Sargent is on the bubble at 15th. Is he going to squeak through? Who's still to come in? So Magnussen and Joe Granu are the only two that can knock him out. Can they do it? Let's see. Suspense as we got through, but the guy who's going to finish number one on Q1 is the Williams team of Alex Albon, and it looks like Joe Granu is his last shot, the last guy that can knock him off. Is he going to be able to do it? I wish they'd put the time up so I could see, but they're not doing it. Let's see. And Liam Lawson, that's an interesting name. That's like the movie star, right? Liam something or other. Anyway, he is going to come up. And he's going to be out in the pits. So, okay, so lucky Logan Sargent did make it through. So, those that didn't is Joe Granu, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Valtteri Bottas, and of course, Liam Lawrence. Was it Lawrence or Lawson? It'll come back up in a minute. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of Q1. So we'll be coming out Q1. So we'll be coming up soon. So let's take this opportunity to thank our sponsors again. And that's a great thing about the qualifying and thing. It does give us lots of opportunities to thank our sponsors. And of course, our new sponsor this week are the folks at Store One. Store One is a storage entity that provides all three types of your storage, but they've got an interesting so they got block, container, and NFS storage, but they're pricing it all at the same price level, which is really interesting because all of the others that I know of, and the big ones, AWS, Azure, and Google, and IBM, and those guys, pretty sure they have a different pricing structure for each type of storage. So if you want to simplify your storage, then it appears that Store One is the way to go. And if you want to be able to really simplify your invoicing, or not your invoicing, but simplify what it costs you, and then you pass those costs on to your customers if you're a vendor for Store One, or if you're a customer to Store One, then you'll have an easy way of figuring out exactly how much your storage is going to cost you each month. So please go to Store One at store1.com. That is Store One at store1.com. And don't forget to tell them that you heard all about them on the Formula One News Hour. Yes, and that goes for all of these folks that sponsor us. Don't forget, when you go to their websites or you talk to somebody within their organizations, tell them you heard about them on the Formula One News Hour. So let's go to our second sponsor. That would be Moms for Liberty. Moms for Liberty is a very, very important organization in this day and age as it pertains to the education of your children. They've got about 103, let's say close to 200 chapters around the USA of moms getting involved in the education of their children. And when I say getting involved, it's getting involved at the board level. Get on the school boards. Get involved in the Parent Teachers Association. Get involved, because as I heard one teacher telling that her class, it was a class in California of all places, but this teacher was telling the kids that the teacher was smarter than their parents, and that they should not look to their parents for anything. They should only look to teachers. That teachers are smart, parents are dumb. Yeah, can you believe that? That's actually being said in the schools to our children. Fortunately, my children have just graduated college. I would having kids in school right now. I've got grandchildren, of course, in school right now. And so you hear my oldest daughter complaining all the time about what the kids are learning in school. Please get involved with momsforliberty.org. That is momsforliberty.org. And of course, we want to talk about Give, Send, Go. You know, a lot of times in life we get hit with a curveball, and you can't help it when a curveball comes, it comes. It just, it's interesting. You wake up in the morning and the world's starting out good, and sometimes it only takes 30 minutes, sometimes it takes 13 hours, and then wham, something hits you, and you have no idea why, but all of a sudden you need to get help, and GiveSendGo.com is your place to get help. And then, of course, we want to thank Thenology. Thenology is a small data center in Austin, Texas, providing you both public and private cloud, along with co-location. So please give Thenology a call. That's thenology.com for all of your cloud and co-location needs. And that's really good because we're about to start Q2, and we've got a small shower passing overhead, and they're interviewing Gunther Steiner, who is the team principal for Haas. And we're always talking about Haas. While I was doing the things for our sponsors, they actually had one of the Haas cars lost it, and so that MoneyGram MoneyGram really did. They're getting all of the returns that they're spending, putting paying to have that logo on their car and paying for that sponsorship, because they certainly do get a lot of time on TV. And unfortunately, it's not because they're like Max Verstappen leading the race. It's because there's always something happening to them, poor buggers. And it's, sport is interesting. I kind of play tennis. I join my kids swim. But, you wake up in the morning and you just get out there and you play an incredible game. You get up the next morning and your game sucks. And it's the same for these drivers. They get up in the morning and they just have a beautiful qualifying session or a beautiful race. And then they get up the next day or the next week and it just sucks. Just everything goes wrong. And that's the way life is, It's like when my kids left for college, I told them, I said, life really is about time. And you have good times and you have bad times. And most of the time you just have time. Just time. Each day, each hour just goes by. Sometimes you have really good times and, your brain remembers those. And sometimes you have really bad times and your brain remembers those. What's interesting is that your brain really doesn't remember that much of the times. And yet it's in one way it's sad, because it's the times that make up your life, not the good times or the bad times. It's the times that just make up your life. Anyway, that's enough philosophy for me for one day, because we are now into qualifying session number 2, and we are watching Max Verstappen making his way slowly around the track. Don't quite know why he's going so slowly. Maybe he's just decided to take it up. Well, he's only doing 80, 90, 100, 120. He's speeding it up a little bit now, but he was going pretty slow there for a minute. They have stayed on the intermediate tires, which I really predicted that they wouldn't. Of course, while we were in between Q1 and Q2, they did have that little shower. It wasn't much, but looking at the shots right now from Max's car, there are some dark clouds out there, so they may be getting. There's also some bright sunshine. One of those days, right? And anyway, incident to Hamilton and what was his name? Lance Stroll. What they're talking about right there, and Verstappen is coming in, and he's going to turn in a pretty fast time. I think he's going to be down, might be in the 118s. We'll see, high 118s, low 119s. Watching what's going on right now, and he's having a really, really nice drive. Not a lot of spray coming up from those tires, so it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe for the last run they move from the intermediate wet tire to the maybe the soft compound slick tire. So we'll see. But he's about to come across 110, coming down into the final turns here before he hits the straightaway, where we'll get his time. 118, 120. No, it's not as fast as I thought. 121. So 121.9. And I think we had I think Alex Albon did a 129.9 something at the end of Q1. So right now we've got four folks with times, and so we got Verstappen, Russell, Sargent, and Perez. So there's Logan Sargent in that Williams car. Just really doing a really nice job. He's a rookie driver for this Formula One season, and he's really doing himself proud. The other rookie, of course, is no longer driving. But I kind of missed that in the news. Apparently, Nick de Vries is going to be brought back on as a reserve driver for the Red Bull AlphaTauri team. So that's going to be interesting. But I read that, I just forgot, when I was doing the news, I read that, I think Thursday of this week, that Nick de Vries would be coming back. If you remember, right before the summer break, they decided to put, and Logan Sargent has just turned in the fastest time, they decided to put Danny Ricciardo into that Nick de Vries seat. And the reason I read that was the reason for them doing that was apparently on that team, they really do. And it's not an AlphaTauri that they. Yeah, it is AlphaTauri. Yeah. Anyway, the reason that they do that is they expect. They're showing Pierre Gasly kind of taking a drive on the wild side there, lost it going into that turn, and ended up going over all kinds of bumpy ground. Anyway, the reason I'll get back to it. The reason that they like to, or they have those drivers where they're expecting more out of them, is because at any moment, like this weekend, we've got Liam Lawrence driving for Danny Ricciardo. You don't know what's going to happen, and so they don't know if Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez is going to have an accident. At the beginning of the season, Lance Stroll fell off his bike. I saw pictures of Valtteri Bottas in a bike race during the summer break there. So they never know. So they've got to have a really good high caliber driver ready to step into one of those two Red Bull cars. So, and they did not think that Nick de Vries was going to get them there to do that. So that was the decision made to go into pulling Danny Ricciardo from sitting on the simulator to actually putting him in a car. All right, so right now we've got Verstappen, Piastri, Stroll, and Alonso. Well, look at that, the two Aston Martins up there. Perez, Sargent, Leclerc, Russell, Hülkenberg, Hamilton. Where is Piastri? Oh, he's number 2. Lando Norris, all the way down there in 13th. He better pull his socks up because only the top 10 cars go through. Alex Albon, so let's see, right now, the difference between pole and, or what would be pole, and 15th is 1.6, that's quite a lot, but let's see, Verstappen has pulled a 126.9, and Alex Albon, there's Lando Norris, is now just taking the top spot, 126, and so that is 6/100ths faster than Verstappen and 3/10ths faster than Alex Albon and 7/10ths faster than his teammates. So we're going to see, though, as the tires dry out, they get hotter, get slicker, then we're going to see, I'm sure we're going to see Q1 times. To get into Q1, you're going to have to pull a very low 120 or a 119 something. I think the top 4 or 5 here will be pulling a 119. We got Verstappen just come in at 120.2, so he's just 0.2 of a second off that 119 mark. So somebody's going to come in at 119 here pretty soon. We've still got 7 minutes left of qualifying. In qualifying session number 2, what's interesting to me is neither of those Mercedes cars has stayed in the top 5. Whoops, kicking my camera system there. Has stayed in that top 5 very long. So I'm pretty sure Mercedes have got to be really disappointed with the upgrades that they thought was going to do so much for them earlier on the year. Williams and the spit it out, John, spit it out. Williams and Norris, the Norris Piastri folks, they've got to be really, really happy with the upgrades to those cars. Allergies are not so bad this morning. That's really good. Let's see. Right now, we got Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton, Piastri, and Albon. Those are your top 5. I don't think Hamilton's going to stay there very long because we got Alonso, Sargent, Perez, and Sainz yet to come in. Albon, Stroll, and Alonso are all in the pits, so they're making some slight adjustments. I don't know why they felt like Alonso would need that. Tsunoda's in the pits along with Gasly. So right now we're on the track. We've only got 5 or 6 cars out on the track. We've got Hülkenberg trying to come in, and Carlos Sainz. And Carlos Sainz had a really slow lap. He's not going to get out of Q2. That's really surprising. Ferrari is not having a good day at all. Charles Leclerc is out. Stroll and Alonso now are out on their out laps, along with Hamilton. So I guess Hamilton was in the pits. I didn't see that. Albon's on an out lap. What an out lap is, folks, if you're not familiar with Formula One, before they put in a timed lap, they've got to get the tyres up to temperatures. So they go out there and they do a lap at probably 3/4 speed just to try and build some heat up into those tires so that they get a really good brake. And what I'm seeing right now is you can actually now see where the cars are on the track. The track is actually dry in a lot of places. Some of the corners it's still wet, so that's the reason that they haven't gone to the soft tire, I think. So I think the way we're going though, we're going to see the soft tire in Q3. Because there's so much of that track that is just dry. But of course, the bad news is that going into in fact, we're watching Verstappen now going through Perez going through the turn, and you can still see water coming up from his tires. But at 80-something degrees, I think it was 86 degrees, they said it is, with the amount of water being thrown up and that temperature, they're going to dry that track out. The straightaway's dry. And we've got coming into the pits, I guess somebody, but so it's got to be a quick, fast pit stop. It's Carlos Sainz that's in the pit. If he can't get out in another 1.5 minutes, he's not going to make it through to Q3. In fact, right now, those that are not going to make it are Sargent, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Gasly, and Sainz. I think that Logan Sargent will make it to Q3. And now we've got Alex Albon out there, and he is cutting into Verstappen's time. So right now, the top five are Verstappen, Perez, Norris, Hamilton, and Piastri. But Alex Albon, I think, is going to be very close to having the fastest lap time. But he added 0.003 of a second in the second sector. But still, he's still showing. And so, remember I said not 119 is going, whoa. He's not, that didn't help him with his fastest lap time. He might scrub that lap now. Let's see what they give him. 119. Whoa. If he hadn't lost that little bit, he got a 119.3. Which is 0.2 faster than Verstappen. And we got Yuki Tsunoda. I don't know why I keep calling him Nicky. It's Yuki Tsunoda is coming in at third fastest. Perez is fourth, and Norris is fifth. So right now, we've got Stroll, Alonso, both of the Mercedes, out of Q3. So that's got to change. Oh, what? That's an interesting day. First time we've talked really about Mercedes today. George Russell just turned in the second fastest lap. Alonso coming in now at number 4. That's more like what we expected to see. Logan Sargent in danger of not making it. Nope, he's going to make it now. He just came in. He's in 5th place. So those Williams cars, Williams has got to be really, really happy this weekend because they're doing really, really well. And still, for whatever reason, cannot get one manufacturer's name off the tip of my tongue. It'll come. It's part of age, I think. But getting old beats the hell out of the alternative, right? Anyway, let's see. For your top 5, right now, I was going to give you the top 5. We're going to look at the bottom 5. Both of the Ferraris, and Piastri just turned in the fastest time. Both of your Ferraris are not going to make it through to Q3. That is crazy. Lando Norris is on the bubble. Lewis Hamilton is on the bubble. If Leclerc and Sainz come through right now, so everybody's got to be now on their out fast lap. And Leclerc is turning in a really nice time right now. So Lando Norris is on the bubble, but I think he's got to train. Sergio Perez is in there at 6th place. I think he'll be safe. And Max Verstappen's on an out lap, so he's going to get one more timed lap to come in. Hamilton has just maybe saved himself. He's come up into 8th place. Logan Sargent is in 9th place. His teammate is in 2nd place. Let's see, Leclerc added time in the second sector. So that's not going to help him. Let's see. He's going to come across 18, 19. Where did he come in? Oh, he's come in third. So he's safe now. So Leclerc is safe. Russell's safe. Hamilton is not safe. He's in ninth position. And I don't, he hasn't taken the flag yet. So we've still got, so Piastri's taking the flag. Right now, Piastri's got the fastest time. 1:19.3. What I say, everybody's got to come in low in the 1:19s or low 1:20s. I don't see anybody. Yeah, I've got Hamilton's at 1:20 right now. Hulkenberg, where are you going to come in? Right now on the bubble, Tsunoda, not on the bubble, not going to make it. Is Tsunoda, Norris, Gasly, Hulkenberg, and Carlos Sainz. Wow, that's crazy. Carlos Sainz is way back. Who's this taking the flag? Hulkenberg just moved into 10th. Pushed Logan Sargent out into 11th. So Hulkenberg, Tsunoda just pushed Hulkenberg out. Verstappen just turned in a 1:18.8. What did I say? We're gonna get down there 1:18, 1:19 as the track dried out. So I bet you for Q3 we're gonna see Lance Stroll just pushed. Whoa, Hamilton's not going to make it to Q2. Hamilton, Gasly, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, and Sargent are not going to make it into Q2, folks. Whoa, Logan Sargent, I thought he'd taken the flag, but he just made it through. So those that are eliminated, this is amazing. Lance Stroll, that he doesn't make it to Q3 that often. Pierre Gasly, he does. The big surprise is, of course, Lewis Hamilton will not make it through to Q3. That is just amazing. Amazing. So let's talk about who did. Verstappen, of course, has come in at 1:18.8, half a second, ahead of Piastri, and 1 second ahead of Alex Albon. So right now, you'd have to say it looks like Verstappen is going to be in the pole position for his home Grand Prix. Nice surprise. Alonso is up there in fourth. Leclerc in fifth. George Russell, Mercedes, of course, he's in sixth, followed by Norris, followed by Perez. Perez is 1 second off his teammate. That's not good. Carlos Sainz managed to pull it out, and of course, Logan Sargent kind of he kind of upset my prediction thing because he came in 6,000ths of a second on the 1:20 mark. So he came in at 1:20.06. So he made it. If he'd been 6,000ths of a second faster, he would have made me look like a genius, and we would have had all cars at the 1:18, 1:19 mark. As it didn't, then it was a 1:19s. So I would think that the folks at Williams have got to be really, really happy. They've got to be, because it's a great day for them. The guys at McLaren have got to be really, really happy. And as I'm talking about being really, really happy, we didn't seem to have much of a time there between the first Q2 and Q3. What were the changing? Remember I predicted that they would go maybe to the slicks, to soft tires for the Q3 session. I just saw them changing George Russell's tires from the intermediate wet to the slick. So didn't take much of a gene. And I'm looking. Alex Albon is on slicks as well. So it looks like all of them have gone to the slicks. And looking at the dry patch on the track, it didn't take much of a genius to figure out that that's what was going to happen. So everybody is on the soft except Max Verstappen, who for whatever reason is still on the intermediates, but that's not going to last long. He will be out there on the soft as well. So as I predicted for Q3, then the track is dried out enough for us to go to the soft tire. So we're going to see now, we're going to see what, 119, we're going to see 116s now, I would think. We're going to get into 116s for the pole position. Russell just came in on the 6th at 118. That was what Verstappen was doing on the intermediates. But remember, the intermediate wet by the end of and there's Alex Albon just came in at 115, Logan Sargent at 116. So we're already seeing those times I'm off with. So I would think that we're going to see 114s. Low, we got a yellow flag. Who lost it? George Russell. No, that's not George Russell. That's Logan Sargent. Ouch. So Logan is going to qualify 10th. They've red flagged the session right now. So right now, whether he'll come in at 10th or not, I don't know. He's in at a 116. And I think everybody out there is going to come in better than 116. But so he will qualify 10th, even though he's not going to do it. His qualifying's over for the day. And so they've red flagged it. They've stopped while they get that car, pick him up. Let's see if they do a replay and see what happened here. Probably he got out of that dry. That you can see the actual dry piece on the track, and I'm assuming that he came outside of that. Just got his car, maybe one set of wheels onto the wet part of the track, and that was just not enough to hold it together. So, maybe not a great finish to his qualifying session, but for the most part, I do not think that Williams is going to be that upset. I mean, it was a question mark as to whether or not you would actually go to the soft tires. Verstappen is in the pit, so no doubt he's going to the soft tire. So they're going to that's exactly what happened. He got wide on a little bit, and his left side wheels got onto a wet patch of the track, and there's no grip. Once he hit that wet patch, he only had two wheels giving him the grip that he needed, and that's just not enough. So get out of that car as fast as you can. You're trained to do that. Because of the voltage, these cars are what you call hybrid, right? They don't have an engine, they have a power pack. Yeah, they got an engine, it's a V6, but they have as much electric power as they do naturally aspirated. Actually, it's turbocharged power. But anyway, they're really afraid that those cars discharge and put an electrical shock into somebody. But we won't be red flagged very long because they're already out there with the cherry picker picking it up, and he's within, by the looks of it, 50 yards of where they can bring that car, get it off the track to somewhere safe. It's very interesting watching the layout of that. They just give another helicopter shot. They have there's a street goes alongside, but a road goes alongside the track. And they got some of the stands on the other side of that road. So the fans are looking across the road and into the track. You'd think they'd close that road down and just put those stands right there on the road. But anyway, they don't want to upset the traffic, so they got the stands, and you can see it again. They got the stands on the other side of the road. So right now, everybody's in the pit except Logan Sargent, who's stuck off on the side of the track, and I'm sure they're kind of asking themselves, really, should we stay with the intermediate wet or should we go with the slicks? Because Logan Sargent didn't get that much of that wet side. He got a full tire width, of course, on the which was enough for him to lose it, but it wasn't really. When you look at the replay, you wouldn't think he was going to lose it, but he lost it quickly. It was as he was going through the turn, the car didn't turn; it just went straight on, and so So now what we're getting entertained by some track official right here, and let's see, getting shots of the crowd. You know what's interesting? They said it's 86 degrees there, but I'm seeing lots of guys in cold weather outfit. So that's interesting. And HCL Software getting a lot of advertisement right now as they ready the car to come back out onto the track, because the red flag is going to be lifted here, I'd say, in a minute or two. So which will be good. We're watching them work on the McLaren car of Lando Norris right now, and let's see what is they're not going to start the race until they fix the safety barrier. So it shouldn't take them too long, though. I don't think he did that much damage to the safety barrier as we watch it again, because he's going through he's on the wet. That whole left side of the car is on the wet, and he just spun around, wham, and it was with enough force that it knocked the right front wheel and suspension off. And yeah, he kind of did a little bit of damage there to the safety wall, but I can't see that it's going to take that very much longer to fix it. But he went right through the gravel and everything. You would have thought that gravel might have helped save his car a little bit, but it didn't. As now they're going to show, in fact, now we get this really slick technology where the guy's going to show us step by step, frame by frame, and you see it. You can see his wheels, right? He's stopping it, going through, and you see he's going to show where the problem is. As he's going into the turn, his left front wheels are in the wet spot, and that's where he lost it, right there. And after that, there's no saving it. It's just like you and me driving on ice. There's just no way to save it. I'm kind of surprised though that it went through the gravel and still hit the safety barriers with such force, but it did. And so anyway, let's see. We got a very nice shot of the crowd. Some now I guess it's warming up, because now they're showing some of them in short sleeves and everything, but. It's a great time. You know what we should do? We should give our new sponsor a bonus plug here. Let's give Store One a bonus plug for sponsoring the Formula One News Hour. And like I said, folks, when you contact our sponsors, don't forget to tell them that you heard about them on the Formula One News Hour. But Store One has come up with a new, not new in terms of, with storage now is a big time thing in the technology world, because we're generating more data every time you send a text, every time you do anything on any device. Everything you do is being saved, and that's something to remember, folks. A lot of people don't realize that all of your texts, all of your Snapchats, for all of you folks that think Snapchat after 5 seconds it's gone, it's not. Everything is saved. And you have got to remember that. Never say anything that you think that you don't want others to know about. Not today, not in the future, not ever, because it is saved forever. And so as we're saving more and more data, we need more and more folks like Store One that can have somewhere for us to save that data. And there's three different types of storage. There's the NFS, which we've been doing for years, and then there's container storage and block storage. And most companies have different pricing levels for different types of storage. And Store One's unique in that they do not. So please give Store One a chance, whether you've got 10 or 20 or 30 terabytes, or you've got 20 or 30 petabytes. Please give Store One a chance to earn your business. In fact, the more storage, the bigger amount of storage that you have, then it's better for Store One. It gets more cost effective for them and for you, and so they pass those savings on to you. So the more you have to store, then the cheaper your storage gets. Yeah, it's like everything else, right? So it's a supply and demand thing. So if the supply, the storage is great, and the demand is little, then the price goes down. If the supply is a little, the storage, then it goes up. You get it. I'm not an economist. My son is, by the way. He got a degree He's an economist. He got his degree in economics. So anyway, give Store One a chance. That's store1.com. Again, that's store1.com. And Lewis Hamilton, of course, is out of his car because he is out of qualifying. When was the last? Actually, I think he didn't qualify a little earlier this year, but it's been Lewis Hamilton not qualifying for a pole. Not having the opportunity to qualify for the pole is qualifying. It's crazy. It's just, and is it the car or Lewis Hamilton? I've said that something happens to all great sports people, and it's more so in Formula One. And you'll hear the Formula One drivers talk about it. There's something happens in their brain. They just, I call it the it factor. The it factor just goes. And when Lewis Hamilton lost that on that final race in 2021, and Max Verstappen became world champion that year, I believe Lewis Hamilton lost the it factor. And I don't think he's ever going to win another world championship. Even if he was in Max Verstappen's car, or even if Mercedes had the best car, I don't think Lewis Hamilton would win. I think he's lost the it factor. And what happens in the it factor is that their brain starts questioning a little bit as they go into a turn, and they're thinking, I can take this turn at 200 miles an hour. And then their brain goes, no, 198. So their brain starts questioning their decisions. Then the it factor's gone. So when they have the it factor, they never worry about it. They never even question the decisions they're making. And when you listen to the drivers that have retired, they'll tell you that that's the first thing when they start questioning that. Because what's really happening now is they're starting to worry about dying. Because in this type of car, you have to accept. And in a lot of these cars, not just this type, IndyCar, NASCAR, any cars that's doing 200 miles an hour, you got to say any little thing can go wrong, you're dead. Right? Even though we've seen a lot of them crash and people have come out, like Grosjean just 2 years ago when he crashed. Normally you'd say there's no way he's coming out of that alive, but they do build the cars pretty safe now. But still, you've got to know as a driver that you climbing into that car, that might be the last time you ever climb into it because they pick you out of it. So anyway, I think Lewis has lost the it factor, and so that's part of why you're seeing him not qualify or not have an opportunity to qualify today for the pole position. And so are we getting ready to go back to live qualifying? Let's see. Now we've still got the repair trucks out there, the guys fixing the wall, the retainer wall that Logan Sargent hit. If they take much longer, they'll be able to fix Logan Sargent's car and they'll be able to get back out there. Just kidding. No, you'd be surprised how fast they can fix these cars, though. I mean, he lost his nose cone and he lost his front suspension. Probably 30 minutes tops. And we've probably been going 15 minutes now. We've been red flagged. I'm sure. I haven't been tracking, but I'm sure that we've probably had 15 minutes of red flagging here. So, they might be able to, as we watch a crowd full of Red Bull, Max Verstappen supporters, as this is Max Verstappen's home Grand Prix, of course. And they're just putting out, race control just putting out delay due to barriers. Oh, really? We can't see the truck sitting out there? But actually, probably I shouldn't be so critical, because a lot of the spectators probably don't know why it's been red flagged. I mean, they know it's been red flagged because Logan Sargent hit, but they also know they get the cars off the track pretty quickly. And so they're probably thinking, well, wonder why it's taking so long to get that car off the track. And looking at it now, it looks like the retaining wall is, they got 2 pieces to put back into position, and they will be good to go. So if you've never been to these races, they have these barrels, and some of them are empty, some of them are filled with sand. and some of them are filled with foam stuff. But the whole idea of course, is to take the impact away from the like a solid wall would be. In fact, how Grosjean managed to survive that last crash to it, because not only did it cut his car in half, but he went through the guardrails. Those guardrails are a lot like the guardrails you see on your freeway, right? So it's very interesting that he was able to survive that, but of course he did. But for the most part, these things are just designed to cushion the impact, and it was slow the car down. If you ever look on the freeway, if you ever look at those guardrails, if you see that they actually have wooden pylons that hold them into the ground, so they're bolted to wood, because they're not metal, because they put wood in there because the wood is designed, as you hit it, it snaps off, and so you don't come to an abrupt sudden stop, because it's the sudden stop that kills you. It's not necessarily the type of impact, or rather you'll see cars roll over and flip over and do all kinds of stuff. And you've got a much better chance of surviving that type of crash than you do surviving a crash where you hit a tree and you just come to a sudden stop, boom. Because it's the sudden stop, that sudden blunt force that kills you. It's your brain gets rattled, and sometimes it is just the shock of about what is as they leave. Now we're about to go back to, they're going to get the repair crews finished. But it's that sudden, it's the shock of about what's to happen to you that actually kills you, and not the impact from your injuries. You die of shock before you actually have the wreck. It's half a second before, millisecond before. But yeah, when you look at why people died in a wreck, a lot of times it was just the shock of what was about to happen. So anyway, the crowd is better. Everybody's looking good. The pits have dried out. Let's see. They're having Lawson. They're giving an interview with him right now. And you know, he's got to be happy. He's a young guy getting into a Formula One car. That's his dream come true. That's his whole lifelong dream come true. His next one is going to be, getting into Q3. Well, actually Q2, then he's going to Q3. And then his next one after that will probably be either getting a pole, which isn't going to happen for a long time, but maybe he can get onto a podium. Or maybe he can just get in the top 10 and earn some points towards the championship. All of these little milestones that these great sports stars go through. They're just human like you and me. I spent a lot of time in the swimming world because, as I said, both my kids swim, and it's really interesting timing. As a timer, you can be timing. In the morning you can be timing a little 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and in the afternoon you might be timing future Olympic champions and past Olympic champions. That happens all the time, and they all mix together. They all kind of get together. They're all just like you and me. You go out to dinner at some restaurants around there, and you'll see the Formula One drivers eating dinner and stuff like that. So yeah, it's and you look at them, and when you get so used to seeing them that you don't realize that you're looking at world-class athletes. I mean, world-class athletes. And Formula One drivers, they used to have a thing on ABC Sports, I think it was years ago, and it used to be the fittest man on earth competition, and it was all the different athletes competing in all different kinds of physical sports, running, hurdling, lifting, jumping, all that kind of stuff. It was like an endurance, think of it like as a decathlon in the Olympics. And it was 9 times out of 10, it was the Formula One drivers that were winning. Especially in days gone by, you'd be incredibly fit to drive these cars for 1.5 hours. If you think about the older cars, these guys have all got semi-automatic transmissions. They're just flipping a little paddle on their steering wheel, which in case you didn't know, you got the paddle shifter in your car from Formula One. But anyway, in the days when they had a heavy clutch and a gear lever and everything, Jim Clark used to talk about when he was Formula One champion in the '60s. He would talk about having blisters on his hands and feet from his hands on the gear lever, and his feet from the clutch all the time, clutch and brake. Towing and heeling was an absolute necessity. If you didn't know how to tow and heel, you were never going to be a race car driver. So that was a very common practice then. They still do it now, but it's not like it used to be, because they don't have to worry about the clutch so much. It's interesting, the level of fitness that these guys are on to. And we have gone back, folks, to qualifying again, as all of the cars come out of the pit lane back onto the track, and I see rain about 1 mile to 2 miles behind the track there, out over what would be the North Sea. Very interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see what tires these guys have on. See if I can see the color of the tire as they come out here. Nope, they're still on the soft tire. So yeah, interesting. It's because if we do suddenly get rain, they're all going to have to dive into the pits. Let's see. Previous polls for Zandvoort, is Verstappen, Piquet, Prost, and Piquet. So we don't have every year events here. Okay, so 7 minutes to go in qualifying, and right now we don't have any times. Although they're showing Albon, Sargent, Sainz, Russell, Piastri, Alonso, Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris, and Perez in that order. That might just be the order they're coming out on the outlap. It probably is. As we're watching, I believe that's, Verstappen going through on his outlap. And everybody is on the soft tire, of course. And the track is now even dried out quite a bit in that 15-20 minutes that we had, where we had the red flag for the Logan Sargent accident. So right now, people that are into qualifying laps, Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon. And Alex Albon is just out. He's behind Carlos Sainz, but he is faster than Carlos Sainz. So Williams has just got to be ecstatic with these cars, and of course the guys for guys like Norris and Piastri in the McLarens have got to be just absolutely happy as happy can be. Let's see, where's Alonso? Alonso is currently number 7. His teammate didn't make it through. But it's good to see Alonso up there. So maybe some little adjustments were made to the Aston Martin over the time. And I just saw somebody coming back into the Alex Albon. He was having a really nice lap, and he's come back into the pits. Something must not. Oh, so no, but did they give him a time? I'm trying to figure it out. So I was talking about 113, 114s. They're coming in at 112. So so Norris and Piastri are leading right now. 112. Piastri's a 10th behind. Lando Norris. Russell is half a second behind. Verstappen, interesting enough, is 0.3 of a second behind Norris. So I don't think that time. I don't think those times we're gonna see 111s, middle to low 111s as the pole. So yellow flag. What's happened? Somebody else has. It's a Ferrari. A Ferrari. I can't see who it is, but he's stopped. It looks like his car. It's Charles Leclerc. So what? Oh, now we got another red flag. We're never going to get qualifying in today. What happened now? Let's get a replay, guys. Maybe his car just died. No, no. His left rear wheels pointing his left rear wheel should be pointing this way. It's pointing that way. Very interesting. So, oh yeah, he lost it and he went through the grass and then hit the wall. We're gonna get a replay as he just went straight on. Wow, he just went straight on. You know why? He got wet tires before he hit the corner. He ran into some wet parts of the track, and it's not just his left wheel that's all messed up. We got another 10-15 minute red flag here, so I'm going to take this opportunity to take a quick pause, and we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so the red flag has been lifted and we are just about to get going again. We're watching the cars right now in the pits, in the garages, and we can expect to see the cars back out on the track again here. And as I say that, we're rolling out. It looks like Max Verstappen. So we got 3 minutes and 45 seconds left here in the Q3 session. So within the next 4 or 5 minutes, we are going to know who is on the pole. If it was to end right now, pole would go to Lando Norris, and alongside him would be his teammate in the other McLaren, that is Oscar Piastri. So Oscar Piastri having an incredible year as a rookie as well. So out of the 3 rookies that started, 2 of them are doing midway through the season here. 2 of them are doing really well. They're in the top 10 drivers, and it's what's really interesting to me is to see the improvements that not only of the drivers but also of the teams. These guys, Williams and McLaren especially. We used to be talking about the Aston Martin, and certainly we've got Alonso out there. He's in 10th position right now, but something happened there 3-4 races ago, and I don't know if they made upgrades to the car. Maybe they should go back and downgrade it to the way it used to be. But anyway, so these guys are going to get an outlap. Maybe, yeah, they're going to get, let's see, if they're doing 1:14, they're going to get an outlap, and then they're going to have to get a qualifying lap. So, and we've got some of them on an outlap already. I'm looking at Max Verstappen there, who's just come out on an outlap. So he's going to get an outlap and then a qualifying. He might get actually a qualifying lap. He might get 2 qualifying laps. It depends on how quickly he makes his outlap. He's got to get back, and Charles Leclerc is sitting on the side of the track watching the race or the qualifying. Somebody gave him a little deck chair there, a foldable deck chair, so he's sitting there, and he'll wait till the end of qualifying to make his way back to the pits, and the crowd cheer as Verstappen goes by, and he is still on his outlap, and so things are looking okay. So anyway, let's see, as we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go, and so we're good. So qualifying, the pole position really is going to be decided by 1 lap. Who can do that 1 lap the fastest? Right now, I'm going to put my money on either Norris, Albon, or Verstappen. I know. I'm being a chicken. I'm not picking the one that everybody wants. Everybody wants Verstappen, but I'm just looking at the way that Norris and Albon have been driving today. I think there's a good chance that they can come out, and let's see how Verstappen does here in the first sector as we got the clock going on him. And incidentally, folks, the track now is just dry all over. So he's not. He might come the fast. He's knocked 7/10 off the fastest first sector. Where's Piastri? Piastri's at the same pace. Norris, Norris is not. He's 8/10 of a second. So Norris right now will take, if he can hold this up, he will take pole position away from Max Verstappen if this holds up. So let's see how we do. Verstappen just knocked 1 second off the middle sector. So let's see how Norris does on the middle sector. This is exciting. He matched Verstappen nearly. He's just a little slower. So it's a real toss-up, folks. It's going to be one. Let's see what it's going to be. 110. Oh, that's amazing. Amazing, amazing. 110 for Verstappen. What's it going to be for Norris? Come on, let's see. 111 for Norris. Okay, so it's going to be Verstappen. Norris, let's see, Piastri, Perez has come in third at 111. Here's Alex Albon. What's he going to do? Doesn't look like he's going to make a difference. Alonso's come in third, knocking Perez back. Let's see, what did Albon do? Where is he? Alex Albon's come in third right now, so he's on the second row. Way to go. Right now he's on the second row. Let's see what Carlos Sainz is on the third row. We got George Russell yet to go, and he and Alex Albon are on the second row together. So you got Verstappen, Norris on the first row. Then you got Russell, Albon, second row. Alonso, Carlos Sainz, third row. Perez, Piastri on the fourth row. And then Leclerc and Sargent on the fifth row. Of course, Sargent, didn't really do any qualifying. He made it through the qualifying here, but he got knocked out. So anyway, that, folks, that brings to end the qualifying session.